Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good, wonderful.
Hi, folks. Can I have your tickets? Have them out ready for me, please. Thank you.
I'll wait for her to come down and collect tickets there, so nobody's getting distracted by my wonderful voice and push their tickets away or anything.
Please send someone to Kathleen on the platform and inform her we have a wheelchair for this train. Copy that.
We're at the 11.
Can I get your ticket? Thank you. I'll take it, ma'am. Oh, thank you.
This is a very real narrow gauge railroad, so I'll need everyone's attention for a few minutes for an important safety announcement.
Can I get that?
During boarding, you may have noticed the exterior platforms located at the front and the back of your coach cars. These platforms are not available for use within city limits. Once the conductor has given me the go-ahead, I'll make an announcement and let everyone know when it is okay to step out onto those exterior platforms. But until then, I need everyone to remain inside and seated. The most important rule of our train ride is that there is no crossing from car to car. Again, no crossing from car to car. This is for your own safety. The thin metal bridge between the cars is called an apron, and it is not safe to step or stand on. You will see some staff crossing from car to car, but this is not an invitation to do so yourselves. Once again, no crossing from car to car. Maintain 3 points of contact when up and about, and do not rest your hands near doorways or windows because the movement of the train can cause them to slam shut. Inside each car is a very real stove. Please do not touch or adjust them. If you're uncomfortable with the temperature in your car, please speak with one of us and we'll do our best to accommodate you. Smoking, vaping, or the consumption of alcohol are prohibited at all times on board the train, including the lavatories and exterior platforms. Now, I would like to welcome you all aboard the famous White Pass and Yukon Route Railroad. Constructed over 125 years ago, today we'll be traveling over 20 miles of narrow gauge track and climbing nearly 3,000 feet in elevation to scale the White Pass summit. Our trip will take about 3 hours, and while our train does briefly cross the Canadian border, we stay on board the entire time, so you do not need your passports today. At the summit, our train will take a loop in the tracks, which will turn us around so we can face the opposite direction for the return trip to Skagway. So everyone will be able to see both sides of the train today. You'll have one side going up and the opposite side going down. During our trip, I'll be pointing out some of the scenery and sharing with you some of the history of the White Pass Railroad and the Klondike Gold Rush, which spurred its construction. My name is Alyssa, and I'll be your tour guide and narrator today. Joining me are 2 train agents, Isaiah and Johnny. You'll be meeting one of them soon if you haven't already. They're going to come through your cars to greet you and point out a few of your onboard amenities. They're very knowledgeable, so please feel free to ask them any questions. Our engineer today is Engineer Hillier, but we won't be seeing him too much because they're in the cab of our car locomotive. We will, however, be seeing our Conductor Myers, and our engineer, and our brakeman O'Keefe. On your seats, you should have already found a complimentary copy of your All Aboard magazine. If not, or if you'd like any extras, additional copies are located at either the front or rear of your coach car. These guides are full of useful information about the White Pass and Skagway area. The back cover folds out into a rail map which you can use to follow along as we embark from milepost 0, Skagway, Alaska, to the White Pass summit at milepost 20.4. With all that said, please sit back, relax, and get ready for our adventure.
the rail ends here where it ends right now. Yep. Of course.
Passenger cars and 15 diesel-electric engines and 1 steam locomotive, which you can see right outside number 73, our pride and joy of our fleet. In a few moments, we'll pass a red caboose on the right. This caboose was once part of the White Pass rolling stock, but was given to the Forest Service to serve as an overnight hiker's cabin. After we pass the caboose, we'll make our first crossing over the Skagway River along the Denver Glacier. On the left will be the view of our train covering over this bridge. On the right will be a great view of the Denver Valley. Important safety announcements concerning the use of the platforms. First, another reminder that there is no crossing from car to car. Again, no crossing from car to car. Have 3 points of contact, but do not lean on any of the chains near the platform. Anyone under the age of 16 needs to be accompanied by a responsible adult. And finally, please be aware of your fellow passengers and share the limited platform space so everyone has a chance to enjoy them. With all that said, the conductor has given us the go-ahead to step outside and make use of those exterior platforms. When you reach this clearing, be sure to look over your left shoulder for a view of the Denver Glacier Bridge, which we just crossed over about a mile back.
I got him. I got him. So here's the clearing right here for the Skagway Harbor.
Our train is passing through a granite corridor called Rocky Point. Here, railroad construction workers faced an enormous obstacle, a 20,000-ton wall of granite, and the tracks had to be laid right through here. The project had budgeted 450 tons of black blasting powder for the entire railroad. As it turned out, over half of that stockpile was needed just to blast through this 1/4 mile section.
Oh, down there.
be crossing this bridge today. It was retired in 1969 and replaced by the bridge ahead of us, which is the one we will be taking. As we cross this ravine, we'll have a great parallel view of the steel cantilever before we enter our second tunnel of the day. It's nearly 3 times longer than the first, so be prepared for a longer period of darkness. Trail once took. With the summit and the Canadian border just over a half-mile ahead, the 2 routes converged in this area. This trail was scarcely wider than the benches in our coach cars, teeming with people and burdened pack animals.